Hey, sitting here with Courtney Upshaw. Courtney came over today. We're practicing, stay at home. Georgia and all the nations practicing right now. Courtney's my next door neighbor, so we're coming over just doing some real talk like we normally do. And I thought today, Courtney was spitting out some good stuff today, and some stuff for me as a teammate and me as a leader in the company. Just Courtney was just giving me some good advice. I figured, hey, crystal clean. I got to get this on tape, man, because this is some good stuff for all of us to use. And talking about Courtney, talking about Brian's one team, one heartbeat approach, managing through a difficult time, coming together as a company. We're seeing it every day. We're seeing a team just really start to come together and communicate. So I figured, we're at a critical time. You have some stuff you want to kind of say to the team, man, to help us through these times. So Courtney, first of all, thanks for taking the time. Appreciate your dedication, your passion for staying around the team. I know you spoke at the Antifreeze Leadership Summit. Did a fabulous job. Had those guys fired up. They're still fired up from you coming over, right? There's so many people around that office, around the field, saying "Roll Tide" now, though. Yeah. I think you're starting a revolution around here. But I want to remind you that LSU did win the national championship. So for Brian, I did remind him that LSU did win that national title. So congratulations, Brian, and LSU. But Courtney, going back to this, I think real talk, man. Difficult times, difficult staying where we are as a company, as a country, and even as a business right now, is where we're at. Is very difficult times, and we're making some difficult decisions. And I think right now, the message that Brian's trying to talk about, is one heartbeat, one team. That approach. So being a teammate, Courtney, what kind of advice do you give that guy sitting there as a driver? Shows up every day, that has some kind of part of some kind of team somewhere in Crystal Clean. What kind of advice would you give that teammate? Same thing you gave to me earlier. What kind of advice would you give?
Well, just tell them, his part is important. That driver or whatever case it may be. We all have an individual job as teammates, and as part of a team. If we can all get our individual jobs done, even if it's just driving. He has to get to that location for other workers to get their part done as well. So just being able to do his part, do their part, and all together, it'll come together.
Cool. And it comes every day, right? Every day, every minute, right? You can't take a play off, right?
Right.
When you take a play off, what happens, right? The team suffers.
Right.
I love that. Good advice, man. Talk about coaches, right? Let's switch over. Talk about leaders, right? And there's a lot of leaders out there watching you right now. They manage this team, and whether it's 3 people, they manage 50 people, they manage 100 people. And they're coaching right now, they're managing right now in the most difficult time they've ever been faced with, right? I mean, the country's shut down, right? We're out there trying to do a mission as essential employees, and a coach right now is saying, how do I do this? How do I manage under pressure? All these external things are hitting me. What would you give advice to a coach? Because you play for a lot of great coaches, Coach Saban, Coach Hardball, Coach Quinn. You play for a lot of great coaches, and also been through a lot of like frustrating, compromising situations, a lot of pressure situations, a lot of pressure games. What do you say to a coach, Quinn?
The thing that all those coaches did was, they got the team together and they made everybody believe in what they was preaching. If it was the brotherhood here in Atlanta, or team in Baltimore, to Saban, from day one going into his office as a recruit and just feeling the vibe and feeling the energy brought in what he told me. I really believed it, and that was part of my reason for going to the university. Along with just some of the things he said to me in that meeting, but as a leader, they all just, make the team, feel something. It's been a lot of coaches that I played for, individual coaches, might not have been head coaches that I looked at them like, nah, I'm not really feeling it. But for those coaches that make you believe, you'll run through a brick wall for them. So Saban and all the other coaches you named, like you'll want to run through a wall for those guys just because of what they made you feel and what they made you believe in. So as a leader, I feel like you have to get in front of your team and make them feel you, make them believe in what you have. And if they believe in you, they'll do whatever for you.
Gotcha. So it's really trying to manage through that piece there. So game manager, right? How does a coach manage through a pressure situation? Even in take your game experience, apply it to business. How would a coach manage through like a pressure situation? Because every day it's just like a quarter of football. So do you manage by the quarter, or do you manage by the game, or how does a coach do that?
I know in sports, no matter the sport, it take repetition, practice. And I'm sure it's the same with you guys. You talk through it, you go through it. You're not alone. First off, you know what I'm saying. You're not a work. Like you said, it's a team. You have a group of guys that go out together and get the job done. So I just feel like as far as sports and being in the job field, it's some of the same. You just got to go out there. You got to believe in one another. Going back to teammates as individuals getting your job done. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that Mike can trust that Courtney is going to get his job done. And so I just think that's how it all ties in.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Safety. Right now, Brian's talking about safety, especially during stuff right now. And we got a good initiative as a company. I think as a company, really come together around safety. Made it one of our top priorities because, as you know, safety is really big in football where you play. Even our sides, we work around hazard chemicals and hazard situations, and our guys really had to wear their PPE. Right, we had to stress that. So, what kind of advice would you give from a professional athlete to our guys about safety? Why is it so important, especially now?
For me, I would tell the guys. For me, it always go back to just wanting to get home, one piece. You're gonna feel the whatever the effects for whatever it is. So just being able to walk in the door and see the smile on my family face is part of the reason why. When I went out on the field, and even if I feel like there's a cut block and a guy's going at my knees, it's like, okay, gotta protect myself. I want to walk off this field today.
Yeah.
And also, of course, when I get older, being able to not feel the effects of playing football for so long. But at the end of the day, it always go back to just being able to go home, get home to my family. So
Awesome.
I would tell them to stay safe. Continue to do what they're doing because they're making the world a better place. Especially with this coronavirus going on. I remember you telling me how you guys would have to go in and take the initiative to help clean up or take care of the place once the building got affected. And so just also want to thank them. But remember to just stay safe, man, and make sure you get home to your family.
So Brian's talking about one team, one heartbeat. So how do you take that in? Right? Coach comes in and says one team, one heartbeat. What does that mean to you? And what's some final advice you can give to the Crystal King team? Whether it's an accountant, whether it's a driver, whether it's HR person, training person. What would you say to one team, one heartbeat?
I'm going back to that individual thing we talked about a few seconds ago as far as being a teammate, because at the end of the day, that's what you guys are, a team. And so, like you mentioned, the accountants, they got a job to do. Your head man got a job. He got to be that leader for you guys, and then you have your own individual team. So you're like that assistant coach who's taking what the head man want and giving it to your team. So everybody has to come together, especially in this time, with this virus and things like this. You have to take your part as serious as anything, especially now. So as an individual, focus on your job. As a team, focus on getting the job done. As a team, collectively, and get it all come together and it all work out.
Hey, one heartbeat, one team, live here with Courtney Upshaw. Courtney, thanks for taking the time, man. I appreciate what you do, and thank you for being a good friend, a good neighbor to me. And as we manage through difficult times, just real talk. And I appreciate you joining me today for just walking through some stuff we can do as a business. So one heartbeat, one team.
One team, one heartbeat.
Roll Tide.